Betrayal, a story of love, loss, and finding yourself. Hey everyone, I'm here to tell you a story that's a bit rough around the edges, but I hope it resonates with you. So this is about a betrayal that shook my world to its core, and how I learned to rebuild myself from the ashes. And so, picture this, I thought I had a good relationship with my dad, Aaron. He'd always insisted he loved me more than anything in the world, but then I saw something that shattered everything I thought I knew about him. It wasn't just that he was unfaithful, he actually plotted to sleep with my wife, Olivia. My mind went blank. It was like watching a nightmare unfold in real life. I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, just stood there frozen. I felt like a punch had been thrown straight at my heart. How could this be? The man who raised me, the man I thought was my rock, was the one who stabbed me in the back. The worst part? This wasn't the first time my family had been ripped apart. When I was 10, my parents, Aaron and Caitlin, divorced. I was too young to understand the complexities, but the memory of their constant fighting is etched in my mind. They argued about everything, from how to raise me to the smallest life decisions. Ultimately, they ended up signing those cold divorce papers, ending the family I thought I knew. But before the divorce, I learned later, Dad had secretly plotted. He'd been collecting evidence against Mom, trying to make her look bad in court, so he could win custody of me. He wanted the upper hand, and in the end, he won. That day in court, I had to leave Mom, the woman who had always been there for me, and live with Dad. It all happened so fast, I barely had time to understand what was happening. Aaron wasn't a perfect dad, but he tried his best for me. He was a gambler, but he never let his addiction affect me. He always made sure I had everything I needed. I'd see him up all night at the poker table, but he'd still be up early, making breakfast and driving me to school. I think in his own messed up way, he thought caring for me was his way of making up for everything. He never let me feel like I was missing anything. Birthday presents, trips to escape the old house, he tried to fill the void that Mom had left. 13 years have passed since my family broke apart. I'm 23 now, Dad just turned 51. Life changed so much, but one thing stayed constant. Dad was the only one there for me. We had our ups and downs, our arguments and disagreements, but he was my anchor, the one who helped me grow up. A few months ago, my life changed again when I married Olivia. She's kind, intelligent, and always brings me peace after life's storms. Olivia was a ray of sunshine in my world, and we had a truly blissful start to our marriage. When I turned 21, I started thinking about starting a family. Dad seemed to know what I needed before I even said it. He decided to clean up his act, ditch his bad habits, especially gambling, and focus on making money. I remember him working day and night, saving every penny so he could give me a great wedding. He always said that the biggest thing a father could do for his son was help him build a stable family. That was his goal then. Aaron wasn't just a dad, he was a friend, a silent advisor, worried about every step I took. When I told him about Olivia, he listened intently and was immediately supportive. He said she was a good person, and that I was lucky to find someone like her. Over the years, I saw a huge change in Dad. He became more responsible, not the carefree, easygoing dad he used to be. We did it all to make sure my wedding was perfect. I was grateful for everything he did because he sacrificed so much for me. Looking back, I thought I was lucky to have a father like him. He didn't just handle all the wedding arrangements, he poured his heart into helping me start my new life on the right foot. But maybe I missed subtle signs, hints that things weren't right. It's crazy to think now, but I had no idea that our peaceful life was hiding a devastating truth about to be revealed. So right now I'm sitting at the dinner table with Dad and Olivia, dinner's cooking, those same dishes Dad loves. Olivia has mentioned a few times that we should move out, that we need our space as a new couple. But I knew she was also worried about my freedom, living with Dad. I understand Olivia, but I couldn't do it yet. Dad raised me after Mom left. He dedicated his life to me. Now that he's getting older, I can't abandon him, let him be lonely in this house. Aaron sacrificed so much for me, and now it's my turn to take care of him, just like he took care of me for all these years. Sitting there, I look at Olivia, then at Dad. He's eating slowly, occasionally glancing at us, his eyes soft but with a fleeting sadness I can almost feel. I don't want him to feel left out, especially after all he's been through. I tell myself it's just a matter of time. When things are settled, I'll convince Olivia that we can live with Dad but still have our privacy. After dinner, Olivia and I go back to our room. She's quieter than usual, but I think she's just tired from a long day. So as we walk in, I pull an old photo album from the drawer. I've kept it all these years, full of memories from my childhood. Pictures of Dad, Mom, and me, moments of apparent happiness before everything crumbled. I flip through the pages, showing Olivia the pictures I remember vividly. This was my 6th birthday, I say, tracing a faded photo. Mom made the cake, and Dad got me my first bike. Back then, we were still a complete family. My voice trails off, memories flooding back, my eyes lingering on a photo of the three of us, smiling brightly. Olivia sits beside me, silent, watching me. I don't know how bittersweet she's feeling inside. I know it's not easy living with Dad, I continue, my voice softer now. But I can't leave him alone. He raised me, gave me everything he had. Now it's my turn to take care of him. I owe him that. Olivia sighs, but doesn't say anything against it. She takes my hand, her eyes clouded with sadness. She stares at me for a long time, then softly says, I understand. You're a good person, always thinking of others. I don't blame you. It's just, sometimes it's hard. I know she's giving in, but I can't help feeling a pang of guilt. I squeeze her hand tight, trying to offer comfort. I promise we'll find the best solution for both of us. It's just that, right now, I can't abandon Dad. Olivia just smiles faintly, but her eyes hold an indescribable sadness. Maybe, even if she doesn't say it, she senses the complicated emotions swirling around us. And from that moment, she doesn't ask to move out anymore. The peace is temporary, but neither of us realizes that right now. My job is stable now. Thanks to Dad's sacrifices and investment, I got a great education and graduated with a bachelor's degree. After years of hard work, I'm now an assistant manager at a brokerage firm. Our salary and living expenses are comfortable. We're not rich, but we have enough to live without worrying about everyday costs. I'm grateful to Dad for giving me the chance to have this career, and it's another reason why I can't leave him. Dad, though 51, insists on working every day. He's a security guard at a big mall in the city. I've tried to convince him to retire, to enjoy his golden years. I've told him I can handle everything, that he's done enough, but he just laughs and shrugs it off, insistent that as long as he's healthy he'll keep working. A day without work is a day wasted, he often says, his face stern but his eyes full of warmth. I don't want to sit around, be lazy. Working makes me feel useful, and as long as I can, I will. I understand his perspective, but I can't help but worry. Being a security guard isn't backbreaking work, but it's not easy either. I don't want him to keep pushing himself when he deserves to relax. His stubbornness frustrates me sometimes, but I can't do anything. So that's who he is, strong, always wanting to shoulder responsibility, even when he doesn't need to. As for Olivia, before we got married, she worked as an SEO specialist for an e-commerce company. She's intelligent and ambitious, always focused and hardworking. But after marrying me, Olivia decided to quit her job and stay home. She said she wanted to devote her time to family and focus on building our home. I've suggested she go back to work if she wants, but Olivia insists that she wants to step back and take care of our lives. Still, I know deep down, sometimes she regrets the career she paused, but she never says it, and I don't want to push her. All I want is to do my part to make sure both Olivia and Dad don't have to worry about anything else. The next morning, I wake up like usual, getting ready for work. Dad leaves early for the mall, and Olivia stays home to take care of things. She gives me a gentle smile and a few words of encouragement before I leave. Life seems stable, peaceful, but I can't shake this feeling of something hidden, something confusing. When I arrive at the office, the atmosphere is relaxed. The air is filled with the faint scent of coffee and the rhythmic clacking of keyboards. So soothing. I greet a few colleagues as I pass, then sit down at my desk. It starts like a normal day, with small talk and good vibes in the air. Among the colleagues around me is Fiona, a lively and friendly girl. She's known for her cheerful disposition and warm personality. This morning, as usual, she brings some snacks to share with the team. Everyone gets a peppermint candy, a little Fiona tradition to create a good vibe. But when it's my turn, Fiona surprises me with a box of fresh fruit instead of the usual candy. It's small but full of different kinds of pre-cut fruit, neatly arranged. I accept it, a bit surprised, and immediately the eyes of my other colleagues are on us. Ralph, a coworker sitting nearby, squints and smiles. Hey, isn't that a bit unfair? We got mints, but he gets a whole box of fruit. What's going on here? Emily, sitting next to him, joins in. Yeah, Fiona, why is he getting special treatment? There's discrimination going on here. Bruno, from across the office, adds in with a teasing voice. He must be her favorite, right? Who brings fresh fruit for a coworker anyway? Fiona blushes, smiles awkwardly, but tries to explain, no, it's just that I ran out of mints this morning, so I thought I'd give him the fruit instead. I shake my head and laugh, trying to diffuse the playful tension. She's probably just out of mints. Come on, don't embarrass her. There's plenty of fruit, I'll share with everyone. I open the fruit box and share it with my colleagues, making everyone laugh and chat happily. Fiona just smiles awkwardly, tries to pretend like nothing's happening, but it's clear that everyone's attention has made her a little flustered. Day after day, time passes quietly. Winter gives way to spring, and my life maintains its balance between work and family. Dad keeps working hard despite his age. Olivia remains the gentle wife who takes care of our home, and I continue my job at the brokerage firm. Things are consistent, uneventful, just the peaceful rhythms of daily life. Until one weekend, I decide to take Olivia on a picnic. We choose a spacious park outside the city, with lush green lawns and fresh air. It's a rare chance for us to spend time together after busy work weeks, and Olivia seems excited as she packs snacks and brings a blanket to spread out on the grass. As we finally find a perfect spot and start laying out the blanket, I see a group of colleagues from the office nearby. Among them is Fiona, the lively coworker I often work with. They're sitting not far from us, and when they notice me, they wave cheerfully. "Hey, you're here too," Ralph calls out, while Fiona smiles and waves from afar. I stand up, smile back, and turn to Olivia. Go say hi to them. They're colleagues from my office." Olivia looks up, a little hesitant but nods in agreement. "Okay, if you want to say hi, we'll go over." We walk over to greet the group. Fiona, with her usual enthusiasm, beams when she sees me and Olivia. "Oh, Olivia, right? Finally meet you. I hear so much about you from him." Olivia smiles politely, shaking everyone's hand. I can tell she's a little tense, though she's trying to hide it. She doesn't often meet my colleagues, and in this social setting she doesn't seem completely comfortable. After a few pleasantries, Emily, another coworker, suggests, "Hey, come sit with us. It's the weekend, we can all have fun together." I smile lightly but decline gracefully. "Thanks, guys, but we're planning to spend some quality time together today. We just wanted to enjoy a little picnic." Fiona laughs awkwardly. "Oh, right, we won't bother you. Maybe we can catch up another time." I nod, grateful that they understand. Then I turn to Olivia, taking her back to our spot. I know she doesn't like unexpected gatherings like this, and sitting with my colleagues, especially with Fiona around, could make her uncomfortable. Honestly, I don't want to create any misunderstandings, especially when Olivia has sacrificed so much to stay home and take care of our family. As we settle back down on our picnic blanket, enjoying some quiet time, Fiona suddenly appears. She's holding a small box of chocolate-covered nuts, smiling brightly as always. "These are good," Fiona says, placing the box in front of us. "I just got them at the store nearby. Thought you two might like to try." I laugh, politely thanking her. "Thanks, Fiona. We'll give them a try." Olivia, sitting beside me, smiles politely too, but I can sense the awkwardness in the air. After placing the box of nuts, Fiona waves goodbye, quickly retreating back to her group, not forgetting to say, "Enjoy yourselves." As soon as Fiona is gone, I shake my head, open the box of nuts, and look at Olivia with a relaxed expression. But then, through Olivia's eyes, I realize something's wrong. She looks at me, purses her lips, and softly says, a hint of sarcasm in her voice, but trying to remain calm, "You and Fiona seem pretty close, huh?" I immediately understand what she's implying. When I thanked Fiona, I might have unconsciously smiled more freely than usual, and it didn't escape Olivia's notice. She's sensitive, and Fiona's unusual attention must have made her feel uneasy. "Don't misunderstand," I reply softly, gently pulling Olivia closer. "Fiona's just a friendly coworker, nothing more. You know, at work, she's always nice to everyone, not just me." Olivia stays silent, her eyes suspicious, but she doesn't seem angry. I continue to reassure her, "Really, you're the person I love and cherish most. I don't want you to worry about anything. Fiona's just a work friend, there's nothing special about it." I squeeze her hand, trying to offer comfort. Olivia sighs, but then she smiles gently, her tension starting to ease. "Yeah, I know. It's just I can't help but notice a little." I nod, understanding that she wants to feel secure in our relationship. "I understand. But you trust me, right?" She looks into my eyes, nodding slowly. "Yeah, I trust you." Finally, the tension between us subsides. I put my arm around Olivia and we return to our picnic. But deep down, I can't deny that this small incident has left a mark. Even if I could reassure her, it's clear that Fiona's presence isn't just attracting attention from coworkers, but now it's causing anxiety in Olivia's heart. The picnic goes smoothly. After those fleeting moments of tension, Olivia and I have a relaxing afternoon, enjoying the blue sky and the birds singing. We become more comfortable, and Olivia's smile puts my mind at ease, as if every small misunderstanding between us is resolved. However, as we return home late in the afternoon, I'm stopped by a scene that leaves me speechless. Dad, Aaron, is sitting at the kitchen table, chopsticks in hand, picking at a bowl of freshly cooked noodles. He's enjoying his meal with a look of satisfaction, but this is what surprises me. "You're eating noodles?" I ask, confused. "Olivia can cook for the whole family. Why are you making your own dinner?" Olivia stands beside me, looking a little embarrassed by the sight. She's just about to step into the kitchen to prepare dinner when Aaron immediately stops her. "So no need, daughter-in-law," he says, his voice cheerful but firm. "There's food in the fridge, just need to heat it up." But I was craving noodles, so I made them myself. I look at Dad, unable to contain my concern. "You don't need to do everything yourself. I'm worried about your health." Aaron cuts me off, laughing casually. "Come on, don't worry so much. I'm still healthy. I can make a small pot of noodles, that's easy. The complicated stuff, that's for Olivia to cook." Even though he says that, I can't hide my anxiety. Dad's getting older, his health is stable but still a cause for concern. I don't want him to push himself, even with simple tasks like cooking. I sigh, looking at Aaron sitting there, beaming as he savors his simple homemade noodles. I feel helpless, but seeing him happy like this, I can't do anything but accept it. "Okay, but next time let us handle meals," I say, trying to suppress my worry. "We're here to take care of you." Aaron just laughs heartily, clapping me on the back. "Come on, don't make a big deal out of it. I'm still healthy, I can still work. Just let me do what I want sometimes." I sigh again, looking at Olivia, who smiles in agreement. We both understand that though we worry about him, arguing or insisting on our way would just make him upset. Seeing Dad happy with his bowl of noodles, I reluctantly let go of my worries for the moment, accepting that he needs to make his own small decisions in his life. That night, after things have settled, Olivia and I go back to our room to get ready for bed. The room is small, cozy with soft lighting, but my heart feels heavy with thoughts about Dad. Olivia lies next to me, her hand gently grasping mine as if she can sense my anxiety. Sigh, my eyes filled with sadness as I look at the ceiling. Dad sacrificed so much for me. I start my voice low as a laz and I obviously lost in my own thoughts. When I was little, I didn't realize, but now, as I grow older, I see it clearly. He worked so hard, gave up so much in life, just to take care of me, from my education to my everyday needs. Olivia listens, doesn't interrupt, just stays silent and squeezes my hand tighter, letting me continue. So back then, after Mom left, Dad carried the burden of everything. He didn't just make sure I had an education, he always gave me the best. I remember those nights, seeing him staying up late cleaning, preparing for the next day, taking care of small details I didn't even notice back then. He could have given up, but he stayed strong, and it was all for me. My voice cracks, thinking about everything Aaron had done, feeling a lump in my throat. Olivia gently shifts closer, listening to every word. I turn to her, my eyes a little damp. "Now Dad's old. I'm scared one day won't be strong enough to keep going like this. Whenever I see him taking care of everything himself, from work to cooking noodles tonight, I can't help but worry. But he's stubborn, always thinking he has to take care of himself." Olivia remains silent, her eyes filled with gentle empathy. She doesn't say anything, just reaches out to hug me tightly, as if trying to offer comfort and reassurance. I feel the warmth of her arms around me, easing the tension in my heart. "I admire him so much," I whisper, my voice softer now. "He did everything for me, and all I want is to repay him somehow. Sometimes I wish he could just rest, enjoy his life instead of continuing to work so hard." Olivia nods softly, replying gently, "I understand. Your dad is an incredible man, and you are too. But don't put too much pressure on yourself. He did everything for you, and now he wants you to be happy. That's important too." I don't say anything more, just rest my head on Olivia's shoulder, feeling the peace she brings. She doesn't say much, but her empathetic silence helps to soothe some of my worry. In that moment, I feel lucky to have Olivia beside me, someone who understands and supports me, even during the most difficult moments. Her embrace is a reminder that even when life throws curveballs, we have each other to overcome anything. So that night, all the pent-up emotions between Olivia and me are released. She holds me tight, and we share our thoughts and anxieties about the future in our family. On Olivia's arms, I feel lighter, as if some of the pressure on my heart has lifted. The next morning, I wake up early and get ready for work. As I'm leaving the office, I receive a message from my supervisor about a new assignment. The company is sending a small team on a business trip next week, a 2-day, overnight trip. I'm paired with Ralph and Fiona, my energetic and friendly coworker. This task involves visiting a small town outside the city to meet with clients and finalize some important contracts. I can't help but worry about leaving home, even for a short time. Thinking of Dad and Olivia, I feel an even heavier sense of responsibility. So this is an important task, however, and I know I can't say no. When I return home that evening, I decide to tell Olivia about it. After dinner, as we settle on the couch, I start to share the news. I have a business trip next week," I say, my gaze meeting Olivia's with a bit of worry. "It's only 2 days, but I'm still worried about Dad while I'm gone." Olivia looks at me, nodding gently, not surprised. "I understand. Go for work, don't worry about us. I'll take care of Dad. I'll make sure he's well looked after. Don't worry too much." I smile, feeling reassured by her promise. I know you'll handle things, but I still feel a bit guilty leaving you and Dad alone. Dad's not young anymore, I just want you to pay extra attention to him while I'm away. Olivia smiles softly, takes my hand, her eyes full of trust. Don't worry. I know how important Dad is to you, so I'll take good care of him. Just focus on your work, and when you come back, bring us a big present. I laugh along, relieved by her support. I will. I promise I'll bring a big present for both of you. We both laugh, the tension fading away. I silently thank Olivia for always understanding and empathizing with my anxiety. Her strength gives me more confidence, even though I'm about to be away from home for a few days. That night, I spend extra time talking to Dad, checking on his health, and giving him detailed instructions so he doesn't worry while I'm away. Even though it's a short trip, leaving my family always makes me uneasy. Time passes faster than I thought. It feels like just yesterday I received the business trip notice, but now it's the day to leave. I wake up early that morning, quietly packing my things. The trip isn't long, just 2 days, so I only bring essentials. But still, the feeling of being away from home makes my heart feel a little heavy, with a tinge of worry. After folding my clothes and checking everything, I leave the room. Olivia is standing in the kitchen preparing breakfast. She looks up at me, gives me a gentle smile, but I know she's a little sad to see me go. Dad Aaron is already awake. He's sitting in the living room, watching morning news on TV, his face as cheerful as always. Even though he doesn't say it, I know he's always proud of me, and this business trip is part of the career path he's always encouraged me to pursue. I approach him, greeting Dad first. Dad, I'm leaving for a business trip. Take care of yourself, rest up, okay? I'll be back in a couple of days. Aaron looks at me, his eyes kind but with a flicker of worry. Don't worry, son. I'm old, but I can still take care of myself. Everything at home is handled by Olivia. Don't worry about anything. I smile, bending down to take his hand. Yeah, but take care of your health. I'll call to check on you regularly. Then I turn to Olivia. She stepped out of the kitchen, looking at me with warm eyes, but with a hint of anxiety. Be careful, okay? Don't worry about us and Dad, everything will be fine at home. I pull her close, giving her a gentle hug. I'll miss you, I know you'll take good care of Dad, so I'll focus on work. I promise I'll bring gifts when I come back. Olivia smiles softly, hugging me back tight. I'll be waiting for you. After saying goodbye to both of them, I step out of the house, breathing in the fresh morning air, but it feels a little chilly. I get in my car, start the engine, and drive away. In the rearview mirror, I see Dad and Olivia standing at the front door, waving goodbye. The warmth of my family gives me more confidence on this trip. So when I reach the meeting point, I meet Ralph and Fiona, the colleagues assigned to join me on this trip. They're both enthusiastic, especially Fiona, always energetic and positive, bringing good vibes to the group. Good morning. Fiona smiles brightly when she sees me. Ready for the trip? I nod, returning a light smile. Yes, I'm all set. So Ralph stands beside her, his usual humorous expression. Only 2 days, but it feels like a big adventure, right? We all laugh, then quickly get in the car to start our journey. On the road, my mind keeps drifting back home, to Olivia and Dad, but I tell myself that I just need to do my job well, and I'll be back soon, bringing not only gifts but joy for the whole family. The car speeds down the long road and a new journey unfolds before me. The business trip turns out to be busy as I expected. It's a packed schedule, from client meetings to contract discussions. Even though it's only 2 days, the workload makes time fly by. Ralph and I share a hotel room. Fiona is in the room next door. Despite being busy, I don't forget the most important thing, calling Olivia, check in with everyone at home. After the afternoon meeting, back in my room, I stretch out on the bed, grab my phone, and message Olivia first. Just got back to the room. Everything okay? Less than a minute later, Olivia replies, everything's fine, don't worry. A smile spreads across my lips. Even though the trip's just begun, I'm already missing home. I call Olivia right away, wanting to hear her voice and Dad's too. It's me, I say when Olivia answers, her voice gentle but full of life. Hey honey, how's work? Everything okay there? Olivia asks, her voice carrying a hint of comfort. Yeah, things are good. Ralph and I are in the hotel room, nothing too stressful, just a busy schedule, I respond, looking around the small but comfortable room. How are things at home? Dad okay? He's good, don't worry. He just finished eating and is now watching TV. He's even laughing along with the comedy shows, Olivia says, and right then I can hear Dad's loud laughter in the background. Hearing Dad's laughter makes me feel a lot better. That's great. I worry about him, but I'm relieved to hear that. You just focus on work. Em and Dad are fine here. Don't worry too much, Olivia reassures me, her voice soothing and gentle. I smile, feeling warmth from my family even through the phone. Thanks, I know. I'll try to finish up soon so I can come back to you and Dad. I promise I'll bring gifts. Don't forget, Dad and I are waiting for you, Olivia laughs softly, making me feel better. Get some rest early. Don't stay up late. I will. You go to bed early too. I'll be home soon, I say, feeling much calmer. After saying goodbye, I set my phone down, fall back on the bed, and feel a wave of peace wash over me. Ralph is lying on the bed next to me, looking at me with a smile. Sounds like you were talking to your family. Huh? Ralph asks, his voice lighthearted. Yeah, checking in with my wife and Dad. He's getting old, so I'm always a little worried, I reply, turning to look at Ralph. Ralph nods in understanding. I get it. Family's the most important thing. Don't worry, this trip will be over soon. You'll make it back in time to see them. I nod, feeling a little more reassured. Even with a busy schedule, knowing my family is healthy and happy makes all the stress melt away. All I want is to finish work soon so I can go back home to the most important people in my life. After 2 days filled with meetings and contracts, the business trip is finally over. I finish work smoothly and make arrangements to head back home. On my way back, I stop at a few stores to buy gifts for Olivia and Dad. I think about my promise to bring a big present, and the excitement bubbles inside me as I imagine seeing them again. As my car pulls up to the front door, I get out with a few gift bags in hand, feeling relieved to be home after being away. From the front door, I can hear Dad's booming laughter, along with Olivia's cheerful voice. They're chatting about something, sounding relaxed and friendly. I chuckle, feeling a sense of peace knowing things are still good at home. I walk up to the door and press the doorbell. A few seconds later, the door opens and both Olivia and Dad appear, smiles bright on their faces. You're welcome home, honey, Olivia says, a gentle but radiant smile on her face. Dad stands beside her, laughing out loud. You're back. Everything went well with work, didn't it? Yes, everything is good, Dad, I reply, placing the gift bags down as I step inside. I brought presents for both of you. I kept my promise. I wink at Olivia, making her giggle. You just got back. The drive must have been long and tiring. Go rest for a bit, Olivia says, her voice full of concern. Dad and I already made dinner. When you're rested, we'll eat together. Though I'm eager to catch up, the fatigue from the long trip makes me want to change clothes and take a nap. I nod, lightly touching Olivia's hand before heading to the bedroom to change and lie down for a while. After about an hour, I wake up and go out. Dinner is already set on the table, the house smells delicious, and the atmosphere is warm. I sit down with Olivia and Dad, and the three of us chat happily. Looking at Olivia and Dad sitting across from me, chatting and laughing naturally, my heart feels lighter than ever. Dad and Olivia seem to have grown closer during my absence. He looks relaxed, and Olivia is taking excellent care of him. I feel lucky they're not just getting along, but that they're able to create this cheerful and close-knit family atmosphere. As I watch Olivia serve Dad food, I smile to myself, feeling happy that my family has the harmony I've always wanted. My previous anxieties about taking care of Dad seem to have disappeared. I'm so glad to see you two getting along like this, I say, looking at Olivia with love in my eyes. I was worried while I was away, but seeing everything like this at home, I'm finally at peace. Olivia smiles softly. You don't need to worry, honey. Your dad is easygoing and fun. We've had plenty of time to chat while you were gone. Aaron laughs loudly, gently patting my shoulder. You see, son? I'm still healthy. Just focus on your work. Olivia's taking good care of me. Time flies, but over the next month, things start to feel off. At first, I don't think much of it. I assume everything at home is still fine, and I'm happy that Dad and Olivia seem so close. He often talks to her, they seem to have a lot in common. I feel lucky they get along so well. It does ease my worries about looking after Dad. But gradually, I notice a difference. Olivia is not as open and bright as she used to be. She's become quieter, less focused, and often lost in her own thoughts when she doesn't share with me. At first, I assume she's dealing with some pressure she doesn't want to talk about, or maybe we're both going through a rough going east, something any couple experiences. I tell myself that everything will settle down soon. But the distance between us doesn't disappear. Instead, it seems to grow wider. Our conversations become superficial, just polite exchanges, lacking the warmth and deep connection we used to have. So when I ask Olivia about something, her responses are brief. Sometimes she doesn't even look at me. It feels like her mind is elsewhere, miles away from where we are. I try to convince myself that this is just a phase. Maybe our marriage is in a rut, something I know many couples go through. Maybe Olivia just needs time to work through something personal, and then things will be back to normal. But the harder I try to make sense of things with logic, the more I feel alone inside. Olivia is right beside me, but I feel miles away from her. During our dinners with Dad, I notice that Olivia often pays more attention to her conversations with Aaron than with me. She listens intently to his stories, sometimes laughing out loud, and when I ask about her day, her answers are brief and hurried. It makes me question things, but I think maybe. One day, as I arrive at the office, my boss tells me about an important client coming in for a meeting. He wants to make a good impression, so he assigns me and Fiona to prepare a special gift for the occasion. Our task? Find a beautiful fruit basket and a bottle of fine wine, standard fare for welcoming big clients. Fiona and I quickly get organized and head out of the office, aiming for a nearby mall to find the best fruit basket. As we're walking, Fiona keeps her usual cheerful and open attitude. She's excited about this task, and we chat as we browse, discussing the perfect gifts for the client. When we reach the mall, with its lovely displays of fresh fruit baskets, I see a familiar figure. It's Dad, Aaron, standing near the checkout, holding a few items he's just bought for the family. "Dad," I call out, unable to hide my surprise and joy at seeing him. Aaron looks up, beaming when he sees me. "Son, what are you doing here?" I walk over, proud to introduce him to Fiona. "Dad, this is Fiona, my coworker. We're picking up gifts for the company." Fiona smiles and greets him. "Hello, sir, I'm Fiona, and I work together at the company." Aaron nods, his eyes warm as he looks at Fiona. "Oh, hello, dear. I've heard so much about your company, all of you work so hard." I smile, feeling happy to introduce my dad to Fiona. Even though we don't chat long, my pride in my dad is obvious. Aaron seems pleased to see Fiona and me working hard, and after a few inquiries, he says goodbye to continue with his errands. As Dad walks away, Fiona turns to me, laughing. "Mr. Aaron seems very nice and easygoing. You're lucky to have such a great father." I nod, unable to hide my pride. He's always been the person I admire most. He sacrificed so much to raise me, and I want to make him proud. Fiona smiles, then we continue with our task. We choose the most beautiful fruit basket in the store, with all sorts of premium fruits arranged beautifully, but we both agree that fruit alone isn't enough for a VIP client. "It needs to be more sophisticated," Fiona says, looking at me with determination. "It'll be perfect with a nice bottle of wine." I nod in agreement. Right? Fruit without wine would lack a certain elegance. Let's go find a bottle. So we quickly move to the wine section of the mall. We browse a selection of fine wines from all over the world. After careful consideration, we finally decide on a high-end red wine, the kind that's sure to impress any client. Done. Fiona says happily as we pay and leave the mall. Everything's perfect for the meeting. I smile, relieved that the mission was a success. On the way back, I keep thinking about my brief encounter with Dad, and I feel a swell of pride. Now I can return to the office, finish this task, and go back to my family where everything that matters is waiting for me. The client was happy with the company's warm reception, and the meeting went better than expected. After everything was settled, my boss surprised us by letting us leave early to relate. It's a rare chance, and I'm thrilled to be able to get home sooner than planned, to spend time with Olivia and Dad. So when I get home, the first thing I notice is the unusual quiet. The house seems unusually still. I think maybe Dad hasn't come back from his security job at the mall yet, and Olivia might have gone out to do her own errands or visit a friend. Brushing aside any minor concerns, I step inside, place my briefcase and gift bags down, and take off my jacket. The silence makes me a little uneasy, but I figure everyone will be back soon. The fatigue from the long day makes me want to change clothes and relax for a bit. I loosen my tie, head toward the bedroom, my familiar space. As I push open the door, the sight before me freezes me in place. So my father, Aaron, and Olivia, my wife, are lying on my bed. Both are mostly naked, a flimsy blanket covering their bodies. So in the most cruel part, they're holding hands, pressed close together, as if nothing is wrong. At that moment, everything around me crumbles. Time stops, and my brain can't process the horrifying scene before my eyes. I can't breathe. My body freezes, my limbs feel numb. My logic keeps rejecting what my eyes are seeing, but reality is brutal. Olivia and my dad, the most important people in my life, have betrayed me in a way I could never have imagined. I feel like I've been punched in the chest. My whole body feels numb, but my emotions are boiling over, impossible to control. I don't know how to react, how to face this brutal truth. Images of my happy family, of the trust I had in both of them, are now shattered pieces scattered on the floor of my heart. I've never felt so alone, not even in my own home. In a cowardly moment, I turn and walk away, like a loser who can't face reality. I know I'm being stupid, that I should confront them, ask why, face the painful truth. But the pain is too big, so big I can only choose to run away, rather than endure more suffering. I walk aimlessly, not knowing where I'm going. Familiar streets feel foreign. The faint streetlights and sparse car noise only amplify my loneliness. My mind is blank, filled only with images of Dad and Olivia, a sharp, constant sting. I wander without direction, letting my feet lead me, without purpose, without end. I roam until the middle of the night, the pain still raw. On my way back home, I what'll do next, how I'll stack. But all my thoughts are muddled. No clear answers emerge. So when I get home, it's late, the house silent and unnervingly eerie. But someone is waiting for me at the door, Olivia. She stands with her arms crossed, her eyes full of anger and resentment. As soon as she sees me, she speaks, her voice accusatory, as if I'm the one at fault. "Where were you?" she asks, her voice cold but intense. "Was it Fiona? I know everything." I stand frozen, my brow furrowing as I hear her question. "Fiona? What is she talking about?" I try to listen, but everything feels absurd. Olivia doesn't wait for my response. "You think you can sneak around behind my back, but you can't fool family," she continues. "I've noticed for a while, Fiona seems way too close to you. You think I didn't see?" Rage and pain surge inside me. For a moment I want to shout, to question her about what I've witnessed, but instead, I feel numbed by the absurdity of the situation. She's accusing me of something with Fiona, when she's the one who betrayed me, with my father. Olivia's barrage of accusations leaves me baffled. But deep down, I know this conversation isn't about the truth anymore. It's a smokescreen, hiding the truth we both refuse to acknowledge. I stand there, feeling like everything is building up inside me, fatigue and anger engulfing me. So Olivia continues her accusations. Each accusation feels like a knife twisting in my heart, digging into my mind as she keeps mentioning something I never even considered. "I'm tired, Olivia," I say, trying to stay calm, hoping to end this pointless argument. "Let's talk about this later." But Olivia won't let it go. She grabs my hand, pulls me back, her eyes blazing, her voice resolute. "So no, where were you? Are you trying to avoid this forever? You need to answer me right now." I feel like I'm going to explode. The emotions I've been holding in for so long are finally bursting out beyond my control. I spin around, my eyes burning with anger, my chest constricting with the feeling of suffocation. The words I've been holding back finally come out, cold and filled with bitterness. "Sleeping with my dad," I say, my voice deep but laced with a cruelty I can't hold back. "So you were sleeping with my father, Olivia?" My words hit the air like a knife. Olivia goes pale, her eyes widening in shock, speechless. A suffocating silence engulfs the house for a few seconds before a loud sound erupts from the living room. My accusing words and the outburst of rage have awakened my father, Aaron. So I hear his heavy footsteps as he approaches, seeing us standing there, a storm of emotions crashing between us. He stops, his eyes filled with confusion as he looks back and forth between Olivia and me, as if he can't believe what's happening. "What's going on here?" he asks, his voice raspy with worry. But there's a hint of fear in his voice, as if he already knows the answer. I turn towards Aaron, the rage in my heart reaching a boiling point. My whole world is falling apart and I can't keep quiet anymore. "You," I yell, my voice cracking with pain and fury. "Do you think you can do this to me? Ouch, you actually slept with my wife, in this house on my bed? Why would you betray me like this?" Silence descends upon the house. I feel my world crumble around me, piece by piece. My father stands there, mute, his face draining of color, his eyes reflecting confusion and regret, but no words escape his lips. Olivia remains still, her eyes glistening with tears, but I feel no sympathy, no forgiveness. Questions echo in my head, relentless. How could they do this to me? The man I respected, the woman I loved most, they both stabbed me with the most cruel blade. I stand there, my eyes blazing with anger, but with nothing left to say. I want to escape everything, but at the same time, I want to face the truth I never thought I'd encounter. I stand there, feeling the fury inside me explode like an uncontrollable storm. The words get stuck in my throat, but then they burst out, firm and cold. "We're getting a divorce," I say, my voice filled with determination, a blade slicing through the air, ending everything I once cherished. As those words leave my lips, my father Aaron seems to erupt. He narrows his eyes, clenches his jaw, and his face shifts from shock to fury. "Divorce?" he roars, his voice filled with anger and disdain. "Is that all you want? I've lived this long, sacrificed my whole life to raise you, and now you're going to throw it all away because of this." He steps forward, his eyes blazing with anger as he stares directly at me, his words hitting me like a physical blow. "Do you remember? When you were little, I couldn't find a new love because I had to take care of you, had to take care of this broken family. But now you have your own life, you have her a family. And when I wanted to find a little happiness for myself at the end of my life, you can't share, you can't understand. I stand there, stunned by his words, from the father I've always respected and loved. How could he say such things? He's justifying his betrayal, as if I'm the selfish one, the one at fault for not accepting his sacrifice. Disappointment and pain surge through me, each of his words a dagger to my heart. Olivia stands there, just as callous. She nods, her voice cold and sharp. Maybe you should think this through carefully. We need to consider all angles before making a big decision like divorce. She stands there, beside the man who should be her father-in-law, the man she betrayed me with, both of them brazenly manipulating me, as if I'm the wrongdoer here. My stomach churns, disgust seeping into every cell in my body as I witness the deceit and shamelessness from those I once trusted and loved. Unable to bear it any longer, I turn and rush to my room. Only one thought lingers: I need to get out of here right now. I can't stay in this house. I can't face this betrayal for even a second longer. I storm into the room, fling open the closet, and grab my clothes and personal belongings. My heart races, my hands tremble, but my resolve is clear. I need to leave them to escape the darkness they've created in my life. As I step out of the room, my suitcase in hand, Aaron stands in my way, his eyes burning with anger and determination. He yells, "If you walk out that door, you're no longer my son. I'll cut off all ties with you and never come back." His words boom in my ears, but I have nothing left to lose. My heart is already shattered. I look him straight in the eye, say nothing, just step forward, not looking back. The door slams behind me, but my heart doesn't lighten. Only a cold, empty space remains as I walk into the night, leaving everything behind. No family, no love, just loneliness and profound pain. I walk through the darkness, clutching my suitcase, my mind swirling with agonizing emotions. So as I leave the house, I don't know where I'm going, but after wandering aimlessly, only one place comes to mind: Ralph's house. He's a coworker, but one of my closest friends. If anyone can give me shelter and a listening ear, it's Ralph. I ring the doorbell, feeling my heart pound with anxiety. Soon the door opens, and Ralph stands there, surprised. He sees me with my suitcase and instantly knows something's wrong. "What happened?" Ralph asks, his voice full of concern. I can't hide the weariness in my voice when I answer. "Can I stay here for a while? I can't go back home, everything's fallen apart." Ralph nods silently, stepping aside to let me in. He leads me to the living room, offers me a glass of water while I sink into the couch, feeling like I'm about to break. After a moment, I start to tell Ralph what happened. Every word, every sentence weighs heavy, full of pain. I tell him about discovering Olivia and my dad, the two people I loved most, betraying me. The betrayal from my own family, from the father I always respected, from the wife I trusted above all others. Ralph listens, his expression shifting from surprise to shock. He shakes his head, disbelieving. I never imagined it could happen," Ralph says, his voice trembling with anger on my behalf. "Your dad and Olivia, how could they do this?" I shake my head, sigh, feeling the weight of disappointment within me. I don't know either. It feels like my whole world just collapsed. Dad, he betrayed me, and Olivia, she's no different. So Ralph puts a hand on my shoulder, his eyes filled with empathy. "I'm so sorry to hear this, man, but you're not alone. I'm here, and if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask." I nod, feeling a little lighter knowing Ralph is there for me. But a new worry starts to surface in my mind. I know Olivia won't agree to sign divorce papers easily. She's intelligent and could try to manipulate the situation, and I need someone to help me face that, someone experienced, someone who understands the law. In that moment, I think of Mom. After all these years apart, I realize I need her more than ever. My mom, Caitlin, is a skilled lawyer. She was my anchor, the one I trusted completely before my parents' divorce pushed me towards Dad. I haven't spoken to her in years, but now, as my life falls apart, I know she's the only one who can help me through this. Face Olivia. I turn to Ralph, my decision clear. I need to see my mom, Ralph. She's a good lawyer, and if Olivia won't sign the divorce papers, Mom will know how to handle this. Ralph nods, agreeing with my plan. I think that's a good idea. You need support from someone like your mom, and you need to handle this rationally, not let your emotions take over. I sigh, feeling a sense of relief that I finally have a plan. I can't face Olivia and Dad alone. My mom is the only one who can help me now. And more importantly, I realize it's time to reconnect with my mother, the woman who always loved me, even though I left her behind during those difficult years. I'll contact Mom tomorrow morning, I say, my eyes resolute. It's time to end this. That night, I stay at Ralph's, sleeping on the living room couch. Ralph offered me the spare bed, but I declined. My mind is too tumultuous, I can't lie still. The couch is uncomfortable, but that doesn't matter. I toss and turn all night, unable to sleep. The images, the words from Dad and Olivia, replay over and over, haunting me. Every time I close my eyes, I see them together on my bed, the place I thought was a haven for my love. Time drags, and before I know it, dawn breaks. The first rays of sunlight stream through the window, but my heart remains heavy. I know I can't keep running from this pain. I need to take action, and the first thing I think of is visiting my grandmother. I remember her house, where Mom and I used to go often before my parents' divorce. After Ralph wakes up, I thank him for letting me stay overnight, even though I couldn't sleep. Ralph encourages me to contact my mom as soon as possible, reminding me that he's there if I need anything else. I smile in response, grateful for his friendship. I leave Ralph's house and head straight to my grandmother's. Her house remains as I remember it, a small, cozy home with a lush garden and bright flowers. As I knock on the door, a bit of nervousness flutters in my chest. It's been years since I last saw her. My grandmother was such a big part of my childhood, but in recent years, I've drifted apart from her, as well as from my mom. The door opens, and I see my grandmother, her figure petite, but her eyes sharp and full of love. So when she sees me, a look of surprise flashes across her face, then her face brightens. My grandson," she says, her voice filled with joy and a hint of scolding. "Goodness, it's been ages since I've seen you. Why are you just coming to see me now?" I hang my head, speechless. I'm full of guilt for not visiting her all these years. She's aged, but the warmth she exudes remains the same. I want to explain, but I have no excuse for my neglect. I'm sorry, Grandma. I can only manage, my voice softening. I've been awful." She looks at me, her eyes filled with a gentle understanding. She shakes her head, as if dismissing any fault. There, it's all right. I'm just happy you remembered to come. Come in, you must have something you need to ask me." I follow her inside, sitting on the small set of chairs I used to sit on with Mom and her, many years ago. I feel a sense of peace in this place, but the pain still simmers within me. "Grandma, I want to find Mom," I say, my voice laced with desperation. "Do you know where she is? I need her help." So my grandmother looks at me for a while, then sighs softly. "Your mother, Caitlin, is on a business trip. She's always working, always busy, but she left her number with me just in case you needed something, so I give it to you." I feel a wave of relief knowing I have her number. Although my mom isn't here, at least I can contact her. After receiving the number, I pull out my phone and call my mom immediately. My heart beats faster as I hear the ringing, and finally her familiar voice, one I haven't heard in years, answers from the other side. "Hello, who is this?" My mom's voice is still strong and assertive. "Mom, it's me, your son," I say, hesitating, unsure how to start. A moment of silence passes, then my mom's voice softens, but with a touch of surprise. "My son? Goodness, it's been so long since you've called. Is something wrong?" I tell Mom everything about discovering the betrayal of my father and Olivia, about needing her help to start divorce proceedings. She listens without interruption, and when I finish, she says in a firm voice, "All right, son, don't worry. I'll help you, we'll do things the right way, and we won't let anyone manipulate you. Don't let them hurt you anymore." Hearing my mom's voice, I feel a wave of relief wash over me. After the call, I bid farewell to my grandmother, thanking her for her help and promising to visit her again soon. As I leave her house, I know I have a plan. I won't let Olivia or Dad control me anymore. With my mom on my side, I'll reclaim my life. After leaving my grandmother's, I feel a little lighter. Things are still messy, but having a plan makes me feel less trapped. I walk under the morning sun, my mind starting to clear. Even though I'm facing betrayal from both my father and Olivia, I know I'm not alone. So with my mom behind me, I can be stronger and ready to fight for a new life. The days that follow, I keep in touch with my mom. She helps me initiate the legal steps for divorce. My mom's a great lawyer, and even though we've been apart for years, I can feel her love and protection. She doesn't blame me for not staying in touch all this time, just gently says, "What matters is that we're back together now." So with my mom's support, I start the divorce proceedings with Olivia. At first, I know she won't sign the divorce papers easily. She tried to manipulate me, make things more complicated, even insinuating that I had a hidden relationship with Fiona to cover up her betrayal, but I'm not naive anymore. With my mom's support and the law on my side, Olivia realizes she can't avoid the inevitable. After tense negotiations, Olivia finally agrees to sign the divorce papers. She has no choice but to accept the truth, that our marriage can't be salvaged. As for my father, Aaron, I've stopped contacting him. His words that night, "If you walk out that door, you're no longer my son," still echo in my mind. It hurts, but I know I can't forgive such a betrayal. I choose my own path, even if it means breaking ties with him. Life after divorce isn't easy, but I feel lighter. The painful memories remain, but I'm no longer drowning in despair. Instead, I begin to rebuild myself, one step at a time. I spend more time with mom and my grandmother, making up for the lost years. And that helps me realize that while families might break apart, true love can still exist, and can be rediscovered if you're willing to open your heart. One day, as I'm having coffee with my mom, she looks at me, her eyes filled with pride. "You've been through a lot, but I'm proud of you for being strong. Now it's time to live for yourself, not for anyone else." I smile, feeling a sense of peace I haven't felt in a long time. The road ahead is long, but I know I've overcome the biggest challenge of my life. I'm no longer the lost son of a broken family. I've risen from the ashes of pain, ready for a new chapter, one I'll live for myself and for no one else.